Hey Ethan, so class tonight, general warm-up is with the PVCs, and as I was doing the PVC warm-up, I just kind of let people know that today we had ended the cycle, the first quarter cycle, a week early just because not a lot of people might be around during spring break. So today is just kind of some different stuff, hopefully more of like a fun workout. So a bunch of different movements, and not necessarily a start to next quarter's progression yet. So that's, I was explaining that while they did the PVC warm-up. So then I said, and with that, we're going to be using the band to get just a bunch of different things warmed up. So starting out, I had them do either front lateral raise for 10 reps, or not a front lateral raise, a front banded raise for 10. If they needed to, they could turn that into kind of like bringing it up to the chest and then pressing it out. So 10 reps there, then 10 squat thrusters. So 10 thrusters, and then they're gonna double the band up and put it underneath their feet, where they're gonna do 10 rows, so just bent over rows here, pulling back, trying to really squeeze those shoulder blades and controlling the way out. Just let them know they're only gonna go down as far as where they still have some tension on the band. They can take their feet a little wider if they want to get more tension. But 10 bent over rows, then 10 deadlifts, really focused on pushing the hips back and keeping that chest nice and tall. They're gonna go through 10 rounds of that, or sorry, not 10 rounds, 2 rounds of that, 2 rounds of the 10 front raises, 10 thrusters, 10 bent over rows, and 10 deadlifts. I gave ladies orange bands and guys black bands. So yeah. Then the workout, we have 4 different stations. Each station, they're gonna work for 7 minutes and they're gonna get 2 minutes of rest between stations. They should be looking to get a solid 3 and maybe a little bit extra rounds at each station. Each station has a like heavier, harder, slower movement and then a more explosive movement. So for instance, the first station, we've got 12 dumbbell chest presses. As far as the layout, real quick, so I had bench here, and then some wall and some med balls between, and then I had a rower or a TRX row band set up here, rower here, and here. Then over on that side, I had TRXs set up a lot lower for the hamstring bridges, with med balls sitting next there, and then the sled is in that last lane. So anyways, 12 dumbbell chest presses, just making sure we're trying to go nice and heavy and then nice and slow controlled on these. So taking their time on the way down, getting a nice big stretch at the bottom, big press out. They've got 12 of those. When they finish their 12, they're gonna set them down and come immediately into 8 max height push presses. So since it's a push press, it's just a little dip. It's not a full squat. I would recommend letting that ball fall to the floor rather than them trying to catch it, just because you want to be safe with people's wrists. Ladies should either be using like a 12 or a 14. Guys, probably 14 pounds or 20 pounds. And again, they're trying to get as high as possible. They're not just trying to hit the target, they're trying to get it up as far as they can. After you did your 8 med ball push press, take a second, catch your breath. I would say like 30 to 45-ish seconds of rest, because we should hopefully be pretty winded. If we are working hard and heavy on the presses and then really trying to get explosive on the push press, like we should be breathing pretty heavy at that point. So take 30 to 45 seconds of rest and hit it again. Again, you're trying to get 3 or a little bit over 3 rounds at each station. Station number 2, we've got 12 rows and 8 row pulls. So TRX rows, nothing fancy here. Just letting people know if they want to make it harder, walking in farther, easier, walking in not as far. I wasn't too picky on the grip, that's up to them. And then 8 pulls on the rower. I had the rower set to a pretty high level of resistance because we're really trying to load up. So really think about building tension and a big, powerful rip. Take your time, big rip. 8 pulls as hard as they can. Today I didn't record anything, so you don't have to like write down their calories or anything like that. That's station 2. Station number 3, like I said, I would have some TRXs set up over there at a lower height. And they're going to be doing a set of 12 bridges. The heels will go into the bottom part of that band, so then their midfoot is kind of against the handle. They're driving up and coming down. Driving up, pause, come down. So to make these easier, have them slide in towards the wall. To make them harder, have them slide back farther away from the wall. No matter what though, they're trying to keep their heels within about a foot of their butt to really get the hamstrings involved. If they're out farther, it just becomes not as much hamstring and they're not getting what we want to out of it. So 12, and then we've got 8 stability ball over the shoulders. So again, this is trying to be our explosive movement. So ideally, they're grabbing it in one smooth move, tossing it kind of up and over the shoulder. That said, I do want people working heavy on these. So ladies were using a 30, guys were using a 50. So maybe if a lady is kind of crushing the 30, it's not too hard. But the 50, they're not gonna be able to like straight arm toss it over. Then instead they can come down, bring it to the chest, and then pop the hips to bring it over. So they can still be nice and explosive. It's just a little bit easier than going straight arm up and over. Really emphasizing the hip drive of this is where we get that power from, is from really standing up hard and popping the hips. Lastly, sled pull down and back, loading that up with some pretty good weight. It is a backwards sled pull. So if you have, and that you might be doing in partners. So I would just try to partner people up that are relatively the same strength level, and they'll both take one handle. If you have even number, then it'll just be one person holding both handles. Down and back, like I said, walking backwards. That's not meant to be really fast. That's just meant to be like nice, steady steps. But then 8 squat jumps, so really making sure people are getting low and firing up as tall as they can. Yeah, this morning class went pretty well. You're not gonna have a ton of time to get stretched out at the end. So I did some doorway stretch, or I did some lat stretching with the TRX, so leaning off to the one side, and then some snow angels with the TRX. You have a few more people in class, so you won't be able to do the TRXs, but they can do all that same stuff on the rig, a lat stretch, and then a chest stretch. It'll just be one-sided on the chest stretch. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, it was a good class. You have a lot more people in class than I do. I had 2 people, and I think you have 8 people in class tonight. So yeah, thanks.